Hello, you are welcome to another English class. And today we are going to be looking at noun phrases and functions. I remain your teacher, Olasukomi Okpaifa. So stay tuned and enjoy the class. Now let's start from the beginning. What makes a noun phrase a noun phrase? And that takes us to this definition. What is a noun phrase? Of course, you are thinking of so many definitions in your head now. A noun phrase is a group of words, the noun is a head word. A noun phrase is this, a noun phrase is that. So let's take at these three definitions that I love so much. The first one is this. A noun phrase is a phrase that does the work of a noun. Okay, once it does the work of a noun and it's a phrase, then we say it is a noun phrase. Now we can also expand the definition and say a noun phrase is naming. Okay, a noun phrase is a naming phrase. Now the work of a noun is naming. So when a group of words come together and name, we say it's a noun phrase. And that is the next definition that we have here. A noun phrase is a group of words that has no finite verb and it names. Okay, remember a phrase is a group of words that has no finite verb. So when it becomes a noun phrase, then it names. So these three definitions can work for you effectively anytime, any day. So let's move on to types or the functions of the noun phrase that we have, because we are looking at basically the functions of the noun phrase. So the first one I have on the board here is subject of a verb, followed by object of a verb, complement of a subject, object of a preposition, interposition to a noun, and complement of an object. So these are the 6 basic functions of the noun. But because of this class, we are going to be looking at just 2, the first 2. We are going to be looking at subject of a verb and object of a verb. And also we'll look at how these are tested in our certificate examinations. So let's move on with the class now and look at subject of a verb. When you say a noun phrase functions as a subject of a verb, basically it means that it is the doer of an action, it is an initiator of an action, it's always at the beginning of a sentence or a clause. Now let's see this example here. The black car belongs to my family. The black car belongs to my family. Now see the definition. It's a group of words and it's naming a car, just describing it with the other ones, but all this together now is a phrase that is naming. So here now is a subject of this verb belongs. So the function here is subject of the verb belongs. My very good friend of 30 years wedded last year. My very good friend of 30 years wedded last year. From here to here is a phrase, and because it's naming, it gives a picture of someone in our mind. We say it's a noun phrase. So we say the function is subject of the verb wedded. Now followed by this one, driving in the night can cause an accident. Driving in the night can cause an accident. Driving in the night is a concept in our mind, it's a name of an action, okay, and it is subject of the verbal phrase can cause. Subject of the verbal phrase can cause. And finally, gaseous substances around us cause sickness. Gaseous substances around us cause sickness. From here to here is a noun phrase, and it functions as subject of the verb cause. Subject of the verb cause. So let's move on and see the second function of the noun phrase. In case you need to learn anything again as the lesson is going on, why not pause the video and rewind it a little bit to learn it. So let's continue. Now we look at object of a verb. When you say a noun phrase or a noun clause generally is an object of a verb, it means it's coming immediately after a transitive verb receiving the action of the transitive verb. Okay, oftentimes you see it's coming immediately after an active verb, a verb that you can act. Okay, we'll come back to definition of a verb in one of our videos. So let's look at it now. An object of a verb will be receiving an action from a transitive verb. This one, we moved the stumbling blocks away. The stumbling blocks is an object of the verb moved. Okay, the NGO empowered a few youth every year. A few youths every year is an object of the verb empowered. And finally, we received all complaints from the customers. We received all complaints from the customers. All the complaints from the customers is an object of the verb received. Is an object of the verb received. So it's just beautiful like this. Let's see how examinations test us, especially when we're talking about our WACC and our NECO SSC. During examinations, you will not be asked to give an example. Of course, a particular expression will be underlined and you'll be asked to name the grammatical name. And that's the instruction here, that you should identify the grammatical names and functions of the underlined expressions in the following sentences. Okay, now once it's underlined, you have the options of noun phrase, noun clause, adjectival phrase, adjectival clause, adverbial phrase, and adverbial clause. But remember, we are dealing with noun phrase now, so that is the grammatical name of all the words, all the examples we have on the board. That's the grammatical name. So let's move on. Let's take it one by one. Let's see one here. The man saw only 5 members of his gang. Only 5 members of his gang is a noun phrase. So that's the grammatical name. So that's the grammatical name. So the first one, noun phrase, is the grammatical name. Okay, and what is the function? Because it's coming after a verb, it's receiving an action from the transitive verb, we say it is an object of the verb. And what is the verb? The transitive verb, saw. Okay. Remember, the man here is the subject, saw is the verb, only 5 members of his gang is the object. So let's move on to another example. So let's look at this other example. Classroom activities help students learn well. Classroom activities help students learn well. From here to here, you can agree with me that it's a noun phrase. Okay, it's a phrase because it has no finite verb, and it's a noun because it names, okay, classroom activities. It's naming a concept. So we can say the grammatical name is a noun phrase. And what is the function? We'll say classroom activities functions as what? All right, subject of the verb. And what is the subject of the verb? What is the verb? The verb is help. Help. Okay, let's take another one. Here we have early childhood education helps cognitive development. Early childhood education helps in cognitive development. So the grammatical name here is early childhood education. Early childhood education. So the noun phrase. The grammatical name of early childhood education is a noun phrase. And the function basically is what? Subject. Subject of the verb. And what is the verb? You need to quote the verb, helps. So it's very important. It's very important to identify the verb. So finally, let's look at what the grammar cooked for us. So tell me, grammar cooked a meal for 10 people. A meal for 10 people. What is the grammatical name of that expression in this sentence? I'm asking you. All right, I think you have your answer now. So what do you think the function is? You can pause the video. Okay, you said I should not run too fast, that you've gotten the answer. So let's see what we have here. So the noun phrase, you agree, is a noun phrase. So what's the function? We say the function is what? Objects of the verb. And what is the verb? This expression is receiving this action, cooked. So you quote cooked. Please remind everything you are writing because it determines your score. So at this point, I think we've come to the end of the lesson today. So thank you for watching. And if you want to take a test of what you have done so far now, just check the description below and you will see a link. Click on that link, then you can take your test. Of course, we'll receive your answer immediately and then we can reply you, or immediately you can even get your answers. In case you have any question, you can drop in the comment sections. We are going to answer your questions almost immediately. Thank you. Till we see you again, subscribe to this YouTube channel and let's learn together. Enjoy your English class.